What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Preach Culture podcast, man. We're super happy to be here. We appreciate all the support we've been getting lately on this podcast. It's been awesome getting to come in here and talk things through with me and Gene and see y'all's responses on Instagram, Facebook, via Messenger, and all that good stuff. So today we're still on these 7 pillars of Firehouse culture. Today's topic is going to be pride in the fire service. What it means, is it dying, how we improve it, how we teach it, all that good stuff. So when it comes to pride, one of the things I wrote down to start us off with is pride isn't arrogance. It's refusing to be and accept average. That is my definition of pride.
Yep, that's it. And mine sounds a little different. It's the internal standard that drives excellence when no one is watching.
See, when no one is watching, to me, that's a big one. Because I think in the fire service, we just released a flag on this. We have a give a damn problem. We only care when people are watching and we can get good graces with people. We tend to not care when nobody's watching and we're not going to get any praise for it. And that's an issue.
It is an issue for sure.
All right, let me ask you a couple questions and then we'll jump into what makes pride, how we build it, and why we're losing it. In your opinion, can you have pride if your station is nasty?
That's a tough one. Starting off the questions hot. I like it. So yeah, you can have pride. And again, think what we're looking at here is it's an overall definition. And when we look at isolated things, it's hard to base we're simple creatures. We make that assumption that if one thing's bad, then everything follows suit. But yeah, you can have pride, but we definitely should have pride in every aspect. But that doesn't mean we can't have that area that we might lack in, as long as we don't let it be permanent.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we're going to have off days. We're going to have bad days. You're going to have days at the station where you just don't have time to clean the station.
That's right.
It's going to happen. Can you have pride if your truck is a mess?
Again, I think that kind of falls in the first thing. I think trucks are a little bit different than your fire station, because I think your first impression matters a lot, especially when it comes to, the citizens we swore to protect, because that's the first thing they see.
Yeah.
If those first impressions didn't matter, maybe it wouldn't be as big of a deal, but it is.
But it is. I think that goes towards having pride in professionalism.
Yeah.
Having pride in the job. And last one to start it off with, can you have pride if you don't go out of your way to train and learn?
That's a tough one. If you're not training and learning, I think you're starting to lean more towards ego, being egotistical than you are being prideful.
Yeah.
So if you're getting to the point where you don't think you can learn anything else, then
that's a problem.
That's a problem. That's not pride anymore.
And guys, we're going to jump into the difference between pride and ego. They are things that get easily confused, and we're going to do our best effort of what each one means in our words. And like we always say, man, our comments, our messages are always open. If you guys have ideas or think we can do something better, or you just have a different way of doing it, we'd love to learn from you guys as well. We're always learning.
Yep. By no means are we saying this is the one way to make things better. It's just what we're thinking.
Yeah.
So,
dude, the cool part about this is the more we dive into these 7 pillars, I think me and you have realized things that we're not doing properly at the fire station to improve our culture.
Absolutely. Things that we're letting go that we shouldn't be.
Yeah, I think it's cool. All right, so let's bounce around the quote that I'm sure everybody's heard. That's good enough.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous quote.
It is. It gets you in that mindset. It's a slippery slope, as I always say. It's if you're starting to allow it, then that's going to be the standard, or especially if you're in a leadership position, what you allow becomes your standards.
Yeah.
And again, what we said earlier is sometimes it's acceptable to have that balance of allowing it on occasion, but if you allow it to become your standard, then that's where you're getting into a problem.
Or we can get somebody else, a citizen, hurt or killed. So at what point did it become the standard and acceptable to say, that's good enough?
Yeah.
Should never be that way. We have a dangerous job. It needs to be treated as such.
Yeah. I think a lot of people get it confused because there's no real way to do our job perfect, because every situation is always different. And when people think that perfection is not achievable, they lower the standard to where they think it is achievable.
Yeah.
And it's just where that good enough happens.
Helps them deal with it in their head.
Yeah.
And another thing I wanted to bring up while we were here is, like, you have some guys that are one way or the other, but if you're at the firehouse and you're going around saying, it's good enough, and there's guys that do that, and then outside of work, they're like, hey, I'm giving it my all. Good enough isn't good enough. I want to be perfect. So why do we have people that outside of work don't accept good enough, but then they come here, and then vice versa? You have guys at the firehouse that are gung ho, like it's never good enough. Let's get better. Let's get better.
Mhm.
But then they lack that aspect in their life outside of the fire service.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's seeing that hypocritical concept.
Yeah.
It's a tough balance. That's the people that maybe that don't have the invested beliefs that they need to. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people could, be burnt out in certain
Yeah.
ways. That could have been poor leadership in their viewpoints,
Yeah.
and it could just be a hard conversation that needs to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
They may not even realize that that is their mentality.
Yeah,
And we're like, this podcast isn't just about the fire service. It's also how we can be better humans outside of work.
yeah.
So that's kind of why I tied that into, do we walk around our normal daily life saying it's good enough? Does our family struggle and hurt sometimes because we half-ass things? It'll work.
Oh yeah,
We need to have that same mindset outside the fire service that we do in the fire service.
I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of coming home and being like, I don't want to clean today.
Yeah, we all do it.
Yeah, it happens.
Now let's talk about pride in appearance. This is a big one. This one's very controversial, especially with, I feel like a lot of departments right now are hammering on uniforms, hammering on top shirts, appearance.
Yeah, I think
Should it matter?
it it definitely should matter. I think where we struggle, it's kind of a balancing act of how comfortable we can be versus how we need to appear to, the citizens.
Yeah.
So if we can meet in that middle, in that grace area of if you're in the viewpoint of the people around you that you're serving, you should look professional because those first impressions, back to what I said earlier in that first question, the first impressions do matter.
Yep.
You can't avoid that. People, if someone's going to if you're going to make that first impression and be negative, now you're in a battle to try to prove to them
You haven't even shown your skills.
that you're competent.
That was another quote I wrote down is people judge professionalism before they judge performance.
They do. And if you can get away from not starting off on a bad rap with somebody, you're gonna
Yeah.
be better because some people will make up their mind in 2 seconds,
Yeah.
and you can't change it, no matter how good you are.
Yeah.
You know?
I think if you're intentionally putting yourself in the public eye, example, grocery stores, public events, PR events, you're going to headquarters, you're going to training, you're going to a commissioner meeting.
Yeah.
I think we need to look like professionals, and I don't think there's anything wrong with a department enforcing that.
Mhm.
But then it brings up a fine line of what's expected of us outside the four walls of our station
Mhm.
versus what's expected of us inside those four walls.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, we do want that to be our home.
Yeah. Yeah. You do have to have a level of comfortability, and when you're in the station, the other side of that is you also need to take pride in your fire station, right? I don't I think of it about my house. I don't keep my house as presentable as I would if I knew I had guests, but it's also not going to be a pigsty to the point
Yeah.
where if guests come over
It's a problem.
unexpectedly, they're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we need to look at it. when
We
we're
were
talking about
we were shooting ideas back and forth before we started, and one of the good things we came up with is kind of hits on what you just said. We always want our house to be in a condition that if a guest shows up, we're not embarrassed.
yeah,
But that doesn't also mean I'm going to go put on a suit and tie because I might have a guest coming over.
right.
So that's kind of the fine line between let's look professional outside. If we're putting ourselves in the public eye, let's look professional.
Mhm.
But at our house, we also want it to be a place of comfort because we learn a lot and we build brotherhood when we're all comfortable, when we can sit around and we feel like we can talk about everything.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
If you go too far one way or too far the other way,
Yeah.
everybody's going to be mad.
It's a balancing act. It always will be. And again, just know that you can go too far of if you're more concerned about the appearance of your fire station over your training, there's certain things that weigh more.
Yeah,
Your
there's a problem.
ability to do your job is more important, but you also can't let the appearance of your station go to the wayside.
No, because if somebody comes by, you want it to look like professionals work there. We need to have pride in the profession and the way it was built.
Yes.
But that also doesn't mean that if you're out throwing ladders at noon behind the station,
Hmm.
I don't see a problem with a backwards hat. I don't see a problem with shorts and sneakers.
Right.
We're at our house.
Mhm.
I think it should be everything we wear should be county issued. Like you shouldn't be out there in green basketball shorts and a red t-shirt looking like a civilian.
Right.
But I do think shorts, t-shirts, you want to flip your hat backwards when you're training or when you're working out.
Mhm.
We're at our house.
Yeah, I think everything it just comes with that balance, but you also have to realize that sometimes when we get into tendencies, that those tendencies will follow us out the door, off on the truck, and that's where the officers especially have to make sure that never happens.
So we have to have that pride for that line to stay where it needs to stay as well. It's not just a chief or a command thing. We need to have the pride in our professionalism
Mhm.
that when the tones do drop or when we go to an event,
Mhm.
we know that, hey, this was fun being in shorts and sneakers while we worked
Yeah.
out or hung around the kitchen table, but
Mhm.
now it's time to get in uniform. We're going out to see the public.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a big thing because if you're monitoring that yourself, it's just like anything else. They could take it away from us if they
Yeah.
wanted
Oh,
to,
yeah.
and just like any department, they could mandate it, make an SOP about it, whatever they want. So why toe the line of getting it taken away
Yeah.
instead of making sure that you can keep yourself
Yeah.
professional?
Nobody wants to be in a top shirt in the middle of August in Georgia throwing ladders when it's 105 degrees out. So
Exactly.
stop pushing the buttons. Let's wear our top
Yeah.
shirts when we're out in public.
Hmm.
Let's act like professionals. And then when we're at the house, we can get comfortable.
Hmm.
And we already kind of hit on the next topic, which was the public notices.
Yeah.
We've got to be presentable for them. We got to be professional. Our job is to serve them. That is our job.
Hmm. Uh,
We owe it to them.
yeah. That goes back into that first impression situation where if they're gonna everyone makes a first impression. You can't stop yourself. You can't say, okay, well, maybe that was just bad. It's great if you can, but you're still going to have that first impression in the back of your head. So take pride in knowing that they're going to look at you a certain way,
Yeah.
you know?
And we are the image of our entire department.
Yeah.
You have one crew that goes out looking like a slob. It can ruin a Facebook post, an Instagram post, a Snapchat video. It
Hmm.
can ruin the whole image of the department you work for.
Hmm.
And that's never going to be good for your culture.
Yeah.
Because then rules are going to have to be enforced because now the department is embarrassed
Yeah.
because this crew showed up looking awful. And now they've got to put rules in place that in turn is going to frustrate everybody else. And
Yeah.
now we're in a bad place.
No one wants to get the SOP named after them because of something stupid that you did,
Yeah. All right. And this brings us on to station pride.
Yeah.
We've got to have pride in the house,
Yes.
just like your own house.
Hmm.
You don't leave, let's say you go on vacation, you don't leave your house a pigsty.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like those are certain things that people get comfortable with because they feel like, oh, we'll just handle it later.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've got a rookie at the station. They're like, all right, they're going to clean it up. It's all of those things. If we're not taking that ownership,
Yeah.
that pride in our station, then we're hurting ourselves.
Yeah.
We're hurting our image. We're making it. We're making more work for someone else, and that's not the case that we need to be.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, we're both guilty of it. There's
Yeah.
days that we do tidy time at 7, 8 o'clock after dinner. There's days I really don't feel like mopping the floor,
Hmm.
but we need to. It needs to be done.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying go out there and buff your floors and shine the bay floor and scrub the toilets with a toothbrush every shift.
Yeah.
But it needs to be kept presentable. Imagine if your parents came in and your mother needed to use the restroom.
Hmm.
Do you want her walking into a nasty bathroom that she has to use, or do you want a nice clean restroom where she can go in there, come back out, and not feel disgusting?
Yeah. Absolutely.
One of the things our lieutenant says the most, and this goes to the pride in our rigs,
Hmm.
is every time in between every call, that ambulance, it needs to be reset like the next person you're going to pick up is your family member.
Yeah.
Do you want somebody showing up to save your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather, your father in a dirty, nasty ambulance with blood and trash everywhere? No.
Absolutely not. Yeah, if you can take that ownership in it, again, put your family into that position. It's not, it just it's simple enough, but it becomes the unpopular opinion when you've got to push those
Yeah,
those
it does.
topics, you know.
And
No
we
one-
we shot a little bit back and forth about how to bring up those unpopular opinions the
Mhm.
right way because it's the right thing to do, but if you present it wrong, it could go south.
It does,
Now
yeah.
you have people that are never going to do that because you ruined it for them.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can't talk to your crew appropriately and you attach too much emotion to it or you don't present it in that nice, kind way, sometimes it immediately just makes people resent you.
Yeah.
Is really what it does.
Especially over simple things. Like let's say we miss mopping the floor at night.
Hmm.
Somebody comes up, just hitting the F word, screaming at you, the blah, 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 blah. Are you ever really going to want to mop that floor again?
No.
No, the rest of your career you're going to be spent dreading it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh man, I'm forced to do this. So
Yeah.
and so made me do this now.
Yeah.
Instead of taking that pride. You're hurting the culture, you're hurting the
Yeah.
pride by now at some point in time you do have to force certain things and certain people have to have that.
Yeah.
But if that's your go-to out the rip on the first event, you're causing more harm than your help.
We need to have pride in we do our station cleaning at night. I have the motivation I have for it is I want that station to be spotless or as close to it as we can.
Mhm.
When that next crew comes in the morning, I want them to walk in and feel welcome, not
Mhm.
be like, oh, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, the floors are nasty, the cook stovetop is dirty. I want them to come in and be like, all right, let's cook breakfast. We have a clean stovetop, we have a clean kitchen, floors aren't dirty yet. When we get them dirty, we'll sweep them and mop. And it's just we keep passing on a clean station and leaving it better than the way we found it.
Mhm.
That's important. Let's get into the nitty gritty stuff now. Pride versus ego.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about.
Yeah. Pride and ego. Ego always plays a part in this. I got some quotes in here or some different topics. Pride is, I have you come into any situation, whether it be training, and pride will say, I've got things to learn, where your ego is going to be that I've been doing this for 20 years, so I already know what I know.
Yep.
Pride asks questions. I think that's
It's a big thing.
a really big thing. It doesn't matter what it is in training or anything else. If you come and present that with asking questions instead of pretending to know the other side of that for the ego side,
Ego,
be
yeah.
pretending to know, just get the ego out of the way. Like I remember 5 or 6 years ago, I was sitting over a chainsaw and I knew a good bit about a chainsaw, but I had a captain and a sergeant both going over a chainsaw together talking about it. And I came over there listening and wanting
Yeah.
to learn more
Yeah.
because at no point in time did I think I knew everything about a chainsaw.
No.
If you start
can't.
thinking that way, then you're missing the opportunity to learn something you didn't know.
Yeah.
You know?
And like we brought up, I think it was the last podcast about we had the rookie who knew nothing about the fire service. But
Mhm.
dude, he knew everything about radios.
Yeah.
So we could have just thrown him out the well. He don't know nothing. He's a brand new guy. Or like you did, you could sit down and learn all this about radios.
Yeah.
Everybody has something to teach on any given topic.
Yeah. You can learn something from anybody. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah. We just got to put the ego to the side, have pride in our profession and in our crafts,
Yeah.
and have enough pride to want to learn.
Hmm.
That's the big thing. I wrote down that ego is how do I look to others, and pride is how do I improve for others.
Yeah.
Pride is always searching for better. Ego is I'm the best.
Yeah. I've got one that goes with that, complements it pretty good as pride celebrates others when they do something good.
Yeah.
Even if they beat you.
Yeah.
That's the celebration of others, where ego is you're just competing with everyone
Yeah.
all the time. And I think that's a hot topic for us because we're competitive.
Yeah.
That's nature. We want to
Yeah.
be competitive. So if you don't have that ability to celebrate somebody else winning,
Yeah.
even if it's over you, then you might need to check your ego.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. We need pride. We don't need egos. Egos cause problems. Pride creates brotherhood.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the lines, we get those confused. And I think that's also a big issue we have is confusing the pride and the ego. We'll hit that here in a couple topics. We got a whole bunch on confusing the two and why it's causing issues. We need to have pride in our crew. To me, that's the biggest one is pride in the guys and girls that we serve with.
Yeah.
We need to invest in them. We need to mentor them. We don't need to gatekeep knowledge. And we need to praise them in public, and discipline and hard conversations need to be at the house,
Mhm.
one-on-one. We need to, if you get floated to another station, the last thing you want to do is go to that station and start complaining about your guys.
Yeah.
That's not having pride in your crew.
No, I mean that's where rumors start, that criticism everywhere. It makes a bad reputation for yourself too. You
Yeah.
think it might look different, but it truly doesn't. It truly makes your reputation worse by saying you're just going to gossip.
Yeah. And that's been fun, like us recording with the drone and the glasses and the cameras.
Yeah.
Of everything we do at the station. It's fun watching those back because I have so much pride in our crew.
Yeah.
Like whether it be watching one of our guys who's just a freak at CrossFit, or we've got you and a couple other guys that when it comes to anything heavy or anything that needs to get thrown,
Hmm.
forcing a door, dude, it's incredible to watch you guys.
Yeah.
And I love watching those videos back and be like, yeah, those are my guys.
Right.
But that's cool. I have pride that we do as much as we do
Mhm.
and that we better everybody. Nobody's left out. We're always searching for ways to get better. And it's cool to see.
Yeah.
Because then I can walk around and be like, yeah, dude, my crew's got this.
Mhm.
We can handle this. It's not necessarily going around and telling everybody my crew's the best. This is the
Mhm.
best crew. We're the most jam up, badass guys at the fire service.
Yeah. That's
Or
where that
just
ego
walk-
comes in for sure.
Yeah. Walking around with the confidence in your head, knowing we got this.
Yeah.
My guys got this. We prepared for this.
Hmm.
So we got to have pride in our crew.
Yeah. I have one here that we also have to have pride. We got to honor the brothers that came before us.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. I think we had an inherited responsibility when we stepped into this job. We chose the job.
Yeah.
They didn't come out and pick us to come be there.
Yeah.
We made that decision ourselves, and we didn't build this profession.
No.
We're stepping into it. So everything that happened before us happened because someone else had pride in this job
Made it happen.
and made it happen. And a lot of this, like, if we don't have that respect or that honor of what happened before us, then we're doing it a disservice.
Yeah.
So, we inherit the traditions, we inherit the sacrifice and the reputation and the brotherhood. And if we're not acknowledging that, we're not noticing that, and we have the attitude of, you know, it's good enough,
Yeah.
then we're really failing
Yeah.
that what was given before us, and
We're
we're not leaving it better.
And we've hit on that a lot when it comes to culture is always leave more for the culture than you take from it. And that
Mhm.
goes to traditions and the people that came before us.
Yeah.
We need to leave more for the fire service and the people after us than we take from it.
Yeah.
In 30 years, we still want people to be hanging on to those traditions and those values and those responsibilities because they were passed to us. And in turn, we turn around and pass them to the younger generations.
That's right.
That's important. That's having pride in the overall career,
Mhm.
not just your department, not just your crew, not just the area you serve. That's having pride in the career as a whole, the trade as a whole. And let's talk about having pride in your department.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things is people trash their department in front of people.
Yeah, and here's the other side, like, maybe this has been my mentality, but I don't like talking bad about something that I'm not actively trying to fix. And if you're actively trying to fix it, you're not gonna
No,
bad talk it. At least you shouldn't
no.
be, because you know that, okay, yeah, it's there, but I can make it better.
Yeah, we're
And
working on it.
yeah, if we're working on it, then there's no time for you to trash talk.
Yeah.
You're learning why it is that way, and you're moving forward trying to make it better.
You can't make it better unless we continue to hire competent people who have a passion for the job. And what happens when you start trashing your department publicly and in front of people
Yeah.
is those competent people who have love for the job are no longer going to come apply at your department.
Yeah, because you're telling them not to.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
then you complain about, oh man, all these rookie classes are crap. Nobody wants, they're just here for a paycheck.
You told all the good ones to go next
Yeah.
door.
That, we need to be a good representation of our department. And when we represent the department well, the department will treat you well.
Yeah.
They'll treat you as such. But when we start disrespecting and trashing it, and then we also get mad that, oh, that like we talked about the top shirts.
Mhm.
We go out looking like slobs. Oh, now the Chiefs are being mean. They make us wear them all day. No, we did that to ourselves.
Yeah.
We brought that upon us. And let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Excuse me. Does having pride in the fire service make you easier or harder to be coached?
A lot of it, it's hard to say, because a lot of people think prideful firefighters are not easily coached.
Yeah.
But if you're truly prideful, if you've got pride, you should be able to take criticism really well.
Yeah.
Uh, you should be able to take criticism in the sense that you want to get better.
Yep.
And that's what criticism is. I mean, it's just trying to make you better, no
Yeah.
matter what it is. So if you're looking at it from that aspect, a prideful firefighter should be the easiest to coach.
Absolutely.
They should be able to receive that, take it for what it is, learn from it, and move forward.
Because you're
get better.
eager in perfecting your craft if you
Yeah.
have pride in it.
Mhm.
And that's where I think people confuse prideful a lot. They view pride as a bad thing.
Yeah.
When in turn, if you have the correct pride
Mhm.
and you're displaying pride correctly, it's a great thing to have.
Mhm.
It's what we all should strive for is having pride in what we do in every aspect of life.
Yeah. And usually when you see things, especially in the fire service, that maybe people want it to be pride, they have the wrong way of showing it. They're
Yeah.
showing it in the sense that it's egotistical.
Yeah.
It's, we're better, we did this, and that turns people off.
It does.
People think it's pride, but it's more ego. Ego's harder to define.
It is. It is
Yeah.
very hard to define. Now, one more. I want to hit more on that, but let's go over having pride in your fitness and your physical state.
Yeah, I mean, just like anything else, is you need to be ready when the call, when the tones drop. I've heard a lot of, I don't want to work out on shift because I need to be ready for that call. And that's that balance.
Yeah.
Like, there always has to be a balance. There's got to be something in the back of your head that says, you know what, I might catch a call, but that shouldn't prevent you from continuing to make yourself physically capable for doing this thing or
Absolutely.
better.
Yeah.
That's like saying, I'm not going to train today because, I could catch a call while I'm training.
Yeah.
There's certain levels of that is acceptable. And there's certain things that, you shouldn't have every inch of hose off of your fire truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
If you're still in service,
but there's a balance to all of that.
Yeah.
If you're not training with your fire truck on shift, you're definitely not training off on your off
No.
days, because you don't have it.
You don't have it. Yeah.
So you got to balance both of those.
Yeah. And we got to be in the gym as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying go out there and do 6-hour workouts and kill yourself to the point that if you do catch something, you don't have anything left in the tank. But I mean, an hour and a half workout, and this may be an unpopular opinion, should not hinder you from doing your job for the next 22 and a half hours.
Mhm.
If it does, that's a problem. If you go in the gym for an hour and hit a CrossFit or you run a mile or two and then hit some weights, you should not be cooked for the rest of your shift. That's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a level of recovery factor, knowing oneself, like being able to recover quick enough. There's also a level of effort that you put into certain workouts. Like if
Yep.
you put 100% effort into your workout and you're gassed for the next 30 minutes, like you got to know that.
Yep.
And so, like, especially when I was heavy in the CrossFit world, that was something I didn't do as much on shift.
Yep.
Now, I trained it hard on my off shifts. So there's a balance there.
Yeah.
I did workouts at the station, but they weren't the 100% effort CrossFit workouts that I did on my off
Yep.
days
Oh, yeah.
because you got to train on them to get better at it.
Yeah. And you've got to keep your body in peak condition. But the whole, I don't work out on shift because we might catch a call is, excuse my friends, it's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't do that. We owe the citizens better than that for sure. All right. Now let's hit what we were just talking about. Why is pride in the fire service dying?
I think it goes back to your point, which is sometimes it's unpopular to care,
It is.
you know?
We need to normalize obsession.
Yeah. Sometimes if you're the person that cares too much, people look at it as a negative concept.
Why? Why do you think that happens?
I think it's because putting forth that much effort or caring too much about something like that is hard to look at from their personal perspective. It's more of an internal issue with
Yeah.
them than it is an an outward issue for you. You know, they view it as I wouldn't do that, so then it's not cool.
Yeah.
You know, people get more concerned about how they look to people than they do about what they're
Yeah.
doing.
And maybe it's also in the way we present things. Like if I'm obsessed with, I really like ropes,
Mhm.
big rope guy,
Big rope dude.
but I'm not going to sit there and yell at my crew and force them to come do ropes with me and make them feel like crap when they don't want to do it
Mhm.
because who's going to want to come out there and train on ropes with me?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Just like everything, there's a balance. There's a balance to anything that you do. I said this in the CrossFit world for the longest time is if you let somebody who is good at running make the workout, guess what's going to be in the workout?
Running.
Running. Because we tend to want to do the things we're good at.
Yeah.
So you just have to play that with the balance. It's not a bad thing to have in there. It's not bad, but you can't be always going towards the thing that you're great at all the time. Like if you
Yeah.
only wanted to train in ropes, you don't want to train at anything better. Okay, we know you're good at ropes,
Yeah.
you know, and that pushes other people away because it's hard for them to come into something that you're good at and have the pride mentality of taking the criticism and
Learning.
getting better. People also, you know, it hurts their ego to not be good at something.
Yeah.
You got to take that into consideration every time.
I feel like we had a guy who ended up promoting and leaving. He loved gear workouts. He did not like being in the weight room. And we found a medium like, hey, let's get a little CrossFit workout today. Next shift, you come up with the gear workout.
Yeah.
We'll get out there with you.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now we get to do what he likes to do. We get to do what we like to do.
And we saw him in the weight room too,
Yeah.
because he saw that there was a give and take.
Yeah. And we all get better.
Yeah.
That's the pride in your crew is we all need to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Don't only train on the stuff that you're good at and you're comfortable with. Find somebody who's good and comfortable at something else that you're not
And learn from them.
and learn from them.
Take the pride mentality, not
Yeah.
the ego, not I don't want to take the criticism. No, I want to take
Yeah.
I want to learn. I want to get better. I want to perfect my craft. I want to
Yeah.
get better at this job that can kill us.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, hey, I like ropes. We did rope training the other shift. All right. Now let me go find one of our paramedics. I'm not a paramedic. I'm not very knowledgeable on the paramedic level stuff.
Mhm.
Teach me some things.
Yeah.
Teach me some things I'm not good at, I'm uncomfortable with, and I need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that paramedic is now going to be like, oh, I love doing this.
Yeah.
And now the next time I want to go train on something, they're going to be way more inclined to be like, you know what? If we did EMS training, he let me lead that. I got to teach a lot of good information. He listened, he learned. I'll go out there and do confined space stuff with him today.
Yeah.
And then we all learn and we build the brotherhood and we build pride in our crew.
Yeah. We take that culture one step further. It's what our entire thing's about here
Yep.
is making the culture better.
Making this job enjoyable,
Exactly.
making it great, and making it something worth wanting to come to work for.
That's right.
All right, let's hit back a little bit on mixing up the pride and ego.
Okay.
Because like we were saying, pride, I think sometimes has a bad rep because it's actually ego we see.
Mm-hmm.
But in our head, we're like, oh, that's what pride looks like. Like, I don't want to be like that guy. He's a douchebag.
Yeah. If you
But
got the mindset of if you ever check yourself when something's going on and you say, can I accept criticism right now? Or if you get into a conversation with somebody and you know that they're telling you to do something and you can't accept that criticism, you got to know that that's your ego.
Your ego.
talking.
Yeah.
It's not your pride. People think that hurts my pride. It hurts your ego more than anything. Your pride should be able to listen to that saying, you know what? I might not agree right now, But if I try it and I get better, is it going to hurt anything?
No.
It's not.
And we got to get better at looking for it too. That way we don't think this guy who's very egotistical is, oh, he has pride and I don't ever want to be like that. We've got to be good at, okay, let's take a look at that individual. Is he out here fishing for compliments and wanting everybody to think he's the best? Or is he out here just genuinely caring about the job and trying to get better?
Yeah.
Because that's pride.
Hmm.
And that, if we see somebody like that, we should be able to dissect it and be like, you know what? That's how I want to be
Yeah.
versus I don't want to be egotistical. I don't want to think I'm the best.
Yeah.
So we got to have that pride, but we have to, like you always say, check your ego.
Hmm.
The ego's got to go so we can have pride.
That's right.
Now, do you think pride can be taught or passed down?
I mean, it definitely can be passed down because I think we learn, regardless on if we're paying that much attention or not, but we're watching how other people react.
Yeah.
So if we can watch ourselves and pay attention to how we're reacting, we are going to be influenced in teaching the next people
Yeah.
that, hey, that was a better way of doing that. That felt better. I don't know why, but
But it
that
did.
felt better. And then they might ask, they might not. It doesn't matter. Either way, they learn something.
Yeah.
They can see, hey, you know what? I should probably try that next time.
I think pride is one of the only things that can, or one of those things that can only be taught by actions. I don't think you can read a book about pride and come out and just have pride. I
Yeah,
think you need people need to lead by example when it comes to that.
that's true.
And that's how we learn is like, okay, you know, Gene stepped out of his comfort zone and wanted to do IO training today because he hasn't gotten an IO in a year or two and hasn't really touched the new equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna look at that and be like, oh, like Gene did that. Like that was a good idea. Maybe I try something like that. Now, if you sat me down and were like, you need to have pride, you need to have this, it's probably not gonna work.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn by the people above me's examples.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it gets passed down. That's how it gets taught.
Hmm.
And people just kind of step into pride.
Yeah. When you start taking that authoritative, you have to do this, you have to do
Yeah.
that. Just know that there's negative connotations to that. And I've talked about this before. Is a lot of your officers, they have what I call an officer credit, and if you start drawing hard lines or making certain things do, people are going to listen and they're going to have to do it because you're in charge of them.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to get that buy-in that you want, that's not the approach. That's how you say things. That's what your intent is. All of those things matter.
Yeah.
If you haven't perfected that, you can turn people off really quick.
And people are only, like you were saying, people only listen because of your title.
Yeah.
They're not listening because they respect or because they trust you.
Hmm.
And as a leader, you want people to listen to you because they trust you,
Yeah.
because they respect you, and they know you have good intentions, not just because what you got on your collar.
Yeah.
The bugle doesn't make you a leader. It's the way you treat people and the way you lead people makes you a leader.
And you don't have to have any rank to be a leader.
No.
You know, leadership comes from every single level. And
Yeah.
if some people could be absolutely phenomenal leaders that don't have any rank, and if we're ignoring them, then that's part of our ego issue.
Yeah.
You know, we think we can't learn anything because they don't have rank. And that's not the case.
No, it's not at all. And all in all, that just builds a better firehouse culture.
Yeah.
We want people leading from every level. We want people with passion. We want people with pride.
Mhm.
We want people who can put their egos aside because all that's going to do is create a better environment and a better service for the citizens.
Yeah.
We're all on the same page and we're all prideful about what we do.
Mhm.
We go out there and kill it for the citizens.
Yeah.
They can trust us. But when we have egos and we don't train and we only let people with bugles lead, and then we go out there, all that's going to cause is issues and headaches on scenes.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
the innocent civilians don't deserve that.
No, they don't know. They don't know your rank structure when they
No.
call. They just see you and they expect you to do your job. And again, it goes back to it. It's better to just know how to do your job. You know?
And the more you're in the fire service, and I'm sure you can relate to this, you realize that a good bit of our population has no idea how the fire service runs.
No.
We have some people say that when we're out buying groceries, we're using a county credit card.
Yeah.
Like some people just truly have no knowledge.
Mhm.
They're just completely ignorant when it comes to the fire service. So when we come out, they don't know what this means they don't know what FAO, they don't know what sergeant, lieutenant,
No.
they don't know what color the helmets are. Why does this guy have a red helmet?
No. That's our opportunity whenever we're out there and doing those things is to educate them.
Yeah.
But you have to be kind when you educate because we're expecting them to know everything. Of course, then they expect us to know everything. Though we can't have those kind of high expectations without some kind of teaching going on, you know?
And that goes back to the having pride in your uniform. You don't want the lieutenant to come out explaining he's the lieutenant and he's in charge looking like a slob.
Yeah.
And then all of his firefighters underneath him have top shirts on.
Mhm.
Their hair is groomed. Their facial hair is groomed. That citizen's like, all right, so you make the decisions. These guys look like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That just creates confusion.
Yeah.
And we don't need that. We want the citizens on our side. We want them to trust us. We want them to know that we have pride and passion for what we do.
Yeah.
That makes them feel safe. All right, so we wrote down a couple questions for you guys just to leave y'all with
Mhm.
this week. Think about, discuss at the Firehouse, answer amongst you and your friends. If you got a group chat for your fire station, send them in the group chat. See what everybody has to say. Learn from your own people. Bounce ideas off of each other. That's never a bad idea.
Yeah.
Me and Gene take a lot of what we do from the podcast back to the station and ask our guys,
Mhm.
"Hey, how do you feel about this?" Or our guys will come to us and be like, "Hey, dude, I listened to that episode. I had a question about this," or "I think this is this." And it creates a good conversation and we all learn from it.
Yeah.
So the couple questions we have for today is, does social media create fake pride in the fire service? Meaning our posts, what we put on there.
It's a good one.
That is a good one. And
That's
I
a
think
really good one.
that could spark some great conversations.
Yeah, it's that, especially if you got somebody that is posting constantly on social media. It might be that question.
And I know we post a lot on social media,
do.
even about stuff we do at the station.
Yeah, I mean that definitely started when preach culture started
Yeah.
happening. With a different aspect from what either of us do it, but
Yeah.
it gives us that avenue, and it's a good question.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you why we do it. We take the videos of our guys and us training and stuff. One, because like we spoke on earlier, dude, I love watching them back and being like, yeah, like let's
Yeah.
kill it, let's get better. And two, it provides us a platform to create content and get a message out to people. So we can put that video. We're not really putting that video up to show you guys, oh, how this is our rookie. Look how good he throws a ladder. I just want something that catches y'all attention so we can relay
Yeah.
what we believe in and a message that we're trying to push.
You can always check our egos, guys, if you want to.
Yep.
Like we're not if we start posting this stuff because we're trying to be egotistical, tell us.
Call us out.
That's not what we're trying to do. I promise.
Yeah. Call us out and have an uncomfortable conversation with us.
Yeah, for sure.
It may be uncomfortable, but we won't mind it.
Yeah.
We too want to get better.
Hmm.
That's the goal of this whole thing is we're learning as y'all are learning. And it's cool. It's cool to bounce ideas off other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we cross something that we've, just never thought of a certain way. Doesn't matter. Be right, wrong, and different. Try it. Let's see what we can do.
Let's get better together. This is for everybody to learn and everybody to get better.
That's right.
We are not the end all be all teachers. We don't know it all. We haven't lived every scenario.
Yeah.
And we may have the wrong answer to stuff.
Yeah.
It's okay.
If we know it all, we need to get out of the fire service.
Yeah. Find a different job.
Find a different job.
All right, next one. Is pride disappearing in your firehouse? That's a good one to have with your crew.
It is. It is.
Over breakfast, over dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guys, quick second. Do you think we have enough pride in here or are we losing pride?
Yeah.
And then you can also feed on the question, pride versus ego, and get everybody else's opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Figure out how you can portray pride without seeming egotistical.
Yeah.
That's big.
That generates the conversation of what do we have pride in?
Yep.
And if your answer is, I don't know, you might want to start thinking about it.
Let's find something to have pride in.
Let's find something. Let's get a team group discussion on what we think we should be prideful in.
Yep. And the last one is, can you have pride without humility? And I'll go ahead and give y'all the answer to this one. I wrote it down. The answer is absolutely not.
No.
You cannot be prideful and lack humility because pride is built off of your humility of never knowing everything.
Yeah.
So be humble, learn, have ownership, build your competence and build your pride.
That's right. With all of those things, you're stepping in the right direction of making your culture better.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen overnight.
No. It's intentional conversations and intentional conversations and intentional actions that are going to build a better culture.
Yep. And again, at the end of the day, you're going to have people push back, especially if you feel like you're just starting something out like that. You're that person that's like, you know what, I want to try to make it better. You're going to have people push back. Yep. That's where it's going to get difficult. That's where if you want to talk, like send us some messages on social media. It doesn't matter. Like we can help walk you through it. Because again, how you present this stuff to your crew is very important too, because if you start going down a different direction, you won't get the buy-in that you want.
And if you start getting resistance from everybody, that's maybe when you do the mirror test and you say, okay, maybe I'm the one presenting this wrong.
Yeah.
Double back and try it a different way.
Yeah.
There's 100 different ways you can present this.
I don't think anybody got hired on with the intent of screwing up the fire department's culture. Just like they didn't have the intent of screwing everything up or not knowing anything.
Yeah.
So it's our job to teach them. It's our job to push in the right direction. And if you can lead with the concept that they didn't mean to screw something up, it's a lot easier to coach them because then you know that their intent's not bad.
100%. 100%.
Oh, you said it.
We realized that him and one of our other sergeants realized that at the station the other day, that's like our quote for the crew. So they started counting how many times our crew, we have a big crew, says 100% in a day.
It's a lot.
And once they started counting, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's for sure our quote," because everybody says it.
Mm.
One of those things that somebody started and we just all started piggybacking off of. And when you hear it 100 times a day, it just goes
Yep,
right into your vocabulary.
it does.
I catch us on the podcast saying it
Mhm.
100 times.
Mm.
All right. You got anything else to add?
No, I think that's it. I appreciate you guys. You know, this has been great. It's been fun. All of these all of these podcasts as we go on. If y'all got anything else that you want us to talk about or something that you want to see after the pillars of leadership, like send it our way. We got some good things in the works and some good
Yeah.
people coming on to join us.
Yeah.
Just really happy to be able to have somebody listening,
Yeah, absolutely. In the future, guys, we've been having talks with the owner of Send Me Culture and the owner of the Can Report. And in the near future, we're going to have both of those gentlemen on. I think they are super knowledgeable, and we're excited to hear their perspective on a lot of culture stuff. But today's challenge, right before we let you go, guys, give a damn. And the next problem you walk by, attempt to fix it, whether it be a big issue or something as small as a piece of food in the floor or a dish.
Yeah, the first step is to own it. Next step, as we talked about today, take pride in owning it.
Take pride in it.
Yeah, do it.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate y'all joining us for this episode of the Preach Culture Podcast, and we will see you guys next Friday. Thank y'all.
All right, see you.